Have you ever realized that women are selective about who they open up to? They might engage in conversation, share laughs, and even flirt with various men. However, when a woman chooses to reveal something personal, it signifies that you are someone special. This isn't about luck, charm, or playing mind games. It's rooted in trust and emotional depth. Consider this. In a society where many hide behind facades and half-truths, genuine emotional connections are hard to find. Women reserve their heartfelt openness for men who make them feel acknowledged, understood, and secure. The challenge is that many men overlook these opportunities because they concentrate too much on saying the right things rather than being the right person. This video will outline 5 significant things a woman shares only with a man she considers truly special. If she does these things with you, it means you stand out. If not, don't stress. This isn't about chasing or changing who you are to impress someone. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to cultivate that deep connection naturally, without pressure, games, or losing your identity. Stick around, as the final sign is the rarest and most impactful. Understanding it will transform your view on relationships forever. Before we start, please hit the like button if you're ready to enhance your mindset. Subscribe to our channel to stay updated on content that empowers you to become stronger, wiser, and more in control of your life. Also, share in the comments if you've ever had a woman open up to you in a way that made you feel unique among other men. Now, let's get started. Number 1, she confides her fears and expects you to listen without trying to solve them. Many men misunderstand this because they lack insight into the underlying psychology. When a woman reveals her fears, it's not a call for advice or solutions. It's a measure of her comfort level with you. Sharing personal feelings like insecurities or doubts indicates she's letting her guard down. Your response will influence whether she feels safe to open up again. For instance, if she says, "I feel like I'm falling behind in life," the typical guy might jump in with reassurance, saying, "No way, you're doing great." He believes he's being helpful, but he's actually cutting off the conversation before it starts. A high-value man, on the other hand, takes a moment, maintains eye contact, and responds with, "That sounds tough. Tell me more." He allows her the space to express herself fully. What's really going on? When a woman shares a fear, she seeks connection, not solutions. Picture this. You're facing a challenge, and instead of someone downplaying it, they sit with you in that discomfort and listen. That's what she desires. Many men struggle with this because they feel uneasy around negative emotions, thinking they must take action if she's upset. However, all you need to do is be present. Here are some practical tips to implement this right away. Pause before you respond. When she shares something vulnerable, resist the impulse to react immediately. Take a moment to breathe and let her words resonate. Validate her feelings instead of minimizing them. Instead of saying "you shouldn't feel that way," try saying, "That sounds really challenging. I understand why you might feel that way. It makes sense to me. I can see why that's on your mind. That's a heavy load to bear. How have you been coping with it?" Ask a meaningful question. Rather than jumping into problem-solving mode, consider asking, "How long have you been feeling this way? What do you think would be helpful? I'm here for you. What do you need from me right now?" Why is this important? Because women don't just open up about their fears to anyone. They do so when they trust you. Trust is built not by giving advice, but by providing space. If she feels understood, she'll be more likely to share. However, if she senses that you're dismissing or rushing through her feelings, she may start to withdraw emotionally and physically. Try this next time someone confides in you, whether it's a friend, family member, or someone you're dating. Pause before you respond. Instead of jumping to solutions, say, "That sounds really tough. I'm here for you." Notice how this shifts the dynamic of the conversation. Most men listen to reply, but high-value men listen to comprehend. That's the key difference. While fears expose her vulnerabilities, her childhood reveals her foundations. Let's delve into why understanding her background is crucial for knowing her future direction. Number 2, she discusses her childhood in an unfiltered manner. When a woman opens up about her early years, it transcends mere small talk or nostalgia. It delves into something much more profound. She is sharing her origins, the experiences that have shaped her, and often the emotional wounds she still carries. Many individuals bear unspoken emotional scars from their formative years, and when she confides in you, it signifies that she trusts you. This level of sharing is not something women do with just anyone. If she speaks to you about her childhood candidly, she is inviting you into her personal space. However, many men miss the mark here. They tend to make it about themselves or dismiss it as just another anecdote. For instance, if she says, "Growing up, I never really felt seen by my parents. I always had to be the responsible one, and it felt like no one cared about my desires." The wrong response would be, "Oh yeah, my childhood was tough too." While you might think you're connecting, you're actually shifting the focus back to yourself. By doing so, you close the door on her openness. The appropriate response would be, "That must have been really difficult. Do you think that has influenced how you view relationships today?" This way, you validate her feelings without overshadowing them. You demonstrate that you are listening, that you care, and that you possess the emotional intelligence to explore her experiences without judgment. Understanding this is crucial. A woman's childhood often serves as a blueprint for her emotional triggers, fears, and relationship dynamics. If she felt unheard growing up, she may seek deep conversations while simultaneously fearing neglect. If she had to take on a caretaker role in her family, she might struggle with vulnerability, as she is accustomed to prioritizing others' needs. When she opens up to you, she's not merely recounting her past. She's revealing how she perceives her current experiences. To strengthen your bond, focus on the underlying themes in her narratives, rather than just the surface details of her upbringing. These patterns can reveal what makes her feel secure or insecure in relationships, why certain situations provoke intense emotional responses, and how she navigates love, trust, and intimacy. Gaining insight into her background will enhance your ability to communicate with her on a more profound level than many men typically achieve. To put this into practice, ask insightful questions. Instead of rushing past her stories, inquire about her favorite childhood memories or what aspects of her past linger in her mind today. You might also ask if she believes her experiences have influenced her approach to relationships. These questions not only sustain the dialogue, but also help her feel acknowledged, appreciated, and emotionally safe. Avoid jumping to solutions. Instead, offer understanding. If she shares a painful experience, resist the urge to give advice. Instead, acknowledge her feelings by saying something like, "That must have been really tough. How do you feel about it now?" Or, "I can understand why that would be challenging." By validating her emotions rather than attempting to fix them, you create an environment where she feels safe to be vulnerable. Be attentive to the emotions behind her words. Sometimes, her spoken words may not align with her true feelings. If she laughs while recounting a painful memory, it could indicate she's still carrying that emotional burden. Rather than simply laughing along, you might respond with, "It sounds like that was a difficult time for you. Did you feel like you had to stay strong all the time?" This response demonstrates your emotional awareness and willingness to engage with the deeper aspects of her experiences. Women share their childhood experiences not just for entertainment, but with those they trust. If she is confiding in you about her past, it indicates that she values your presence. Your reaction will influence whether she continues to open up or begins to distance herself. Her childhood narratives illustrate her past, while her aspirations highlight her future ambitions. Your responses to these insights will shape your place in her envisioned future. While her past tells you about her journey, her dreams indicate her direction, and your engagement will affect your role in that path. Number 3, she opens up about her dreams and observes your reaction. When a woman shares her aspirations with you, it's more than just small talk, it's a subtle evaluation. She's watching how you respond, not only to see if you support her, but also to determine if you're confident enough to embrace her ambitions. Many men fail to recognize this test. Some respond by pointing out all the reasons her dreams might not succeed, while others show a lack of interest, offering lukewarm replies that leave her feeling ignored. Then there are those who, feeling intimidated by her goals, subtly discourage her. The truth is, when a woman shares her dreams, she's exposing a significant part of herself, her desires, her passions, her purpose. If you dismiss or minimize them, you communicate a clear message: I don't believe in you. For instance, if she says, I want to start my own business one day, a weak response like, that sounds tough, are you sure? Plants doubt in her mind and makes her feel unsupported. In contrast, a strong response such as, that's fantastic, what's your first step? Validates her vision and encourages her to take action. It shows you view her as capable and ambitious, rather than someone who needs to be more realistic. Why is this important? A woman's dreams are profoundly personal. They represent who she aspires to be and her vision for the future. By sharing them with you, she's not just revealing her plans, she's assessing your place in them. Your response in that moment will influence how she perceives you. Do you uplift her or make her doubt herself? Do you broaden her perspective or limit it? Do you motivate her to advance or sow seeds of uncertainty? A high-value man not only appreciates a woman's dreams, but also respects them. He doesn't feel threatened by her ambitions because he has his own. How can you strengthen your connection through this approach? Rather than dismissing or minimizing her aspirations, demonstrate that you are a man who encourages and challenges her development. Ask her insightful questions like, what ignited your passion for this? That's amazing. What do you see as your next step? How can I assist you in achieving that? Such questions show that you truly listen and understand her, helping her clarify her own ambitions, which sets you apart from others who provide only generic replies. Acknowledge the emotional significance of her dreams. Many women are raised to play it safe or told their ambitions are unrealistic. If she shares her vision with you, it likely means she hasn't had many people genuinely believe in her. Your words can either deepen her insecurities or empower her to pursue her dreams. Avoid the urge to overshadow her. Some men, in an effort to impress, quickly redirect the conversation to themselves. For instance, if she expresses a desire to travel the world and work remotely, a poor response would be to boast about visiting 10 countries. Instead, focus on her enthusiasm. That's fantastic. Which country would you choose first? This keeps the spotlight on her aspirations rather than your achievements. To implement this right away, pay attention to your reactions the next time she talks about a goal. Do you instinctively try to bring her back to reality, change the topic? Or do you engage, ask more questions, and encourage her? Your response is not just about the dialogue, it influences how she feels. If you don't fully grasp her dream, approach it with curiosity rather than skepticism. You don't need to completely relate to her ambitions to support them. If she expresses a desire to be an artist, a CEO, or a non-profit founder, you may not fully understand, but you should respect her choice. Consider saying, that sounds fascinating. What inspired you to pursue that? Instead of questioning its feasibility, encourage her genuinely without being insincere. Women can easily distinguish between true support and mere compliments. If she expresses a desire to become an astronaut, don't just respond with, "That's amazing, you'll do great." Instead say, "That's an ambitious goal. What inspired you to pursue it?" Demonstrating real interest makes your encouragement feel sincere. Remember, a woman seeks a partner who not only tolerates her aspirations, but also respects them. When she shares her vision for the future, it indicates she's evaluating your place in it. To pass this assessment, support her wholeheartedly, ask thoughtful questions and never belittle her for aiming high. While dreams are crucial for the future, past relationships influence expectations. When she mentions her ex, listen attentively, not for gossip, but for insights. Many of these experiences may resonate with you. Feel free to comment. I value every response. Understanding her history is key to grasping her present. But what about her future? That's where her dreams come into play. Number 4, she discusses her past relationships, but not for the reasons you might assume. When a woman mentions her previous partners, many men jump to the conclusion that she hasn't moved on from her ex. They hear her reference a former relationship and feel threatened or think she still has feelings for that person. However, the truth is that she's not focused on her ex, she's focused on herself. Women don't bring up past relationships just to dwell on old pain. If she's sharing this with you, it's because she's expressing what has hurt her, what she has learned, and what she won't accept in the future. The biggest error men make in these situations is to either brush off the conversation, criticize her ex, or attempt to prove they are different without truly listening. For instance, if she says, "My last relationship ended because I felt unappreciated," the wrong response would be, "That guy was an idiot. I'd never treat you that way." While this may seem supportive, it actually closes off the conversation and shifts the focus to your ego instead of her feelings. The right response would be, "I understand. What makes you feel appreciated?" This encourages her to open up further, enhancing the emotional bond and demonstrating that you care about her feelings rather than just trying to outdo someone else. Why is this important? A woman's past relationships often serve as significant lessons. They influence her views on love, trust, and her boundaries. When she shares these experiences, she's not seeking your judgment on her ex. She's assessing your emotional intelligence and whether you comprehend her needs. Your response will indicate one of two things: that you genuinely listen, understand, and respect her emotional landscape, or that you're just another guy who doesn't get it. If it's the latter, she'll likely stop confiding in you. To navigate this conversation effectively, approach it like a high-value man. Many men mistakenly view these discussions as a competition, trying to outshine her past partners. A high-value man recognizes that these discussions are about gaining clarity, understanding her identity, her values, and your role in her emotional landscape. Instead of merely listening to her words, focus on the underlying messages. When she mentions, "My ex never made me feel heard," she is indicating that communication and emotional connection are important to her. If she says, "He never supported my goals," it reveals her need for a partner who respects her ambitions. When she expresses, "I felt like I was always the one giving," she is highlighting her desire for reciprocity rather than a one-sided relationship. Ignoring these signals could lead you to repeat the mistakes of her past partners. To enhance your connection during these conversations, approach them with curiosity rather than defensiveness. Many men feel insecure when a woman discusses her past, often changing the topic or offering empty reassurances. Instead, remain open and ask insightful questions like, "That sounds challenging. How did you cope with that?" Or, "What lessons did you take from that experience?" This demonstrates your emotional maturity and willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue. Avoid criticizing her ex. While it may be tempting to say something like, "What a jerk, I would never do that," such comments add little to the conversation. She doesn't need you to disparage her past. She needs you to empathize with her feelings. Acknowledge her experiences by saying, "That must have been difficult. I understand why that would have a lasting effect." This approach allows her to feel validated rather than rushed through her emotions. Remember, she isn't seeking reassurance. She wants to see if your values and actions align with her expectations in a partner. To implement this advice, the next time she shares about her past, take a moment to pause before responding. Resist the urge to fix the situation or prove your superiority. Pay attention to the underlying themes. What emotions and frustrations keep surfacing? That's the core of what she's expressing. Instead of sharing your thoughts about her ex, ask a question that encourages her to reflect on her personal development. What has that experience revealed about you? What do you value most in a relationship now? Remember, women don't discuss their past relationships casually. If she's opening up to you, it's not because she's dwelling on the past. It's an opportunity for you to grasp her current and future self. Your reaction will influence whether she views you as just another man or someone unique. Her past has shown her what she won't accept. When she reveals her vulnerabilities, she's assessing if you're genuinely different. Have you encountered any of these signs before? Share your thoughts. I read every comment. Number 5, she reveals her vulnerability, which is the ultimate test. This is the most unique and significant sign of all. When a woman shows you her unguarded side, it goes beyond mere emotions. It signifies trust. In a society that often encourages women to be strong, composed, and emotionally tough, displaying vulnerability is a considerable risk. She will only take that chance with someone she feels entirely secure with. Picture a woman who has been taught her entire life to remain strong, keep it together, and never show weakness. One evening, she breaks down in front of you, not out of weakness, but because she finally feels safe enough to let her guard down. This is not just vulnerability, it is trust. Many men mistakenly believe vulnerability is solely about crying, but it encompasses much more. Vulnerability occurs when she allows you to witness her doubts, struggles, fears, and the parts of herself she typically keeps hidden. If she invites you into that intimate space, it indicates she views you as someone who won't judge, dismiss, or exploit her feelings. However, this is where many men go wrong. They instinctively try to fix the situation. When a woman is feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or emotional, the typical man's reaction is to resolve the issue right away. He wants to alleviate her pain, offer advice, or reassure her that everything will be okay. But that's not what she truly needs. For instance, if she is stressed or on the verge of tears, the wrong response would be to say, "Don't cry, it's not a big deal." This completely invalidates her feelings, making her feel like she is overreacting or being dramatic. The appropriate response is, "I'm here, take your time." This approach provides her the space to process her emotions without feeling pressured to hide them for your comfort. This is important because, for many women, being vulnerable is a rare occurrence. Society often conditions them to be the ones who keep everything together. Emotional strength involves bearing the weight of others' feelings while concealing your own. When she opens up to you, revealing her true emotions or admitting her struggles, she isn't seeking solutions. She desires a safe space to simply exist. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's a measure of emotional depth. She's assessing whether you can handle her feelings without making it about yourself. Can you endure the discomfort without rushing to fix her? Can you remain present and steady as she navigates her emotions? If you succeed in this, you become one of the few men she genuinely trusts on an emotional level. To support her vulnerability like a high-value man, avoid trying to solve her problems. Women process emotions differently than men. While men often seek action, women need to experience their feelings before moving on. If she is upset, refrain from telling her to stop crying or downplaying her feelings. Instead, acknowledge her emotions by saying something like, "That sounds really overwhelming. I'm here for you." Allow her the time she needs without pressure to explain. Many men feel uneasy when women express deep emotions, often shutting down, getting frustrated, or changing the subject. Don't fall into that trap. Instead, create a calm space for her. Stay present and let her process her feelings without making her feel like a burden. Resist the urge to offer advice, which can be challenging. You might think she needs solutions, but in that moment she needs your presence. Instead of giving advice, ask her if she wants to talk or just sit quietly for a while. This approach empowers her in the conversation and shows your support without trying to take control. Recognize that vulnerability fosters deeper attraction. A woman will only reveal this side of herself to a man she trusts. If she keeps her emotions hidden from you, it indicates she doesn't feel safe enough to lower her defenses. If she opens up and shares her genuine emotions with you, it indicates that she views you as someone special. Here are some actionable steps to take immediately. The next time she expresses her feelings, take a moment to reflect on your own reactions. Do you feel uneasy? Do you find yourself wanting to solve her problems? If that's the case, take a step back. Instead of jumping in with solutions, focus on listening. Offer her space rather than advice. If she's sharing a tough situation, instead of suggesting what she should do, respond with empathy. "That sounds really tough. What do you need from me right now? I understand. That's a lot to handle." This approach helps her feel validated rather than just receiving suggestions. Notice how she reacts to your presence. If she feels emotionally secure with you, she will likely open up more. Conversely, if she stops sharing, it may indicate she feels ignored or dismissed. Remember, women only show vulnerability to those they trust. If she confides in you, it means you've achieved a level of intimacy that many men do not. Your response will influence whether she continues to trust you or starts to conceal her feelings. If you can manage her emotions with strength, presence, and understanding, you will become more than just another man in her life. You will be the one she trusts above all. Why is this important? Women don't share their inner thoughts with just anyone. If she allows you into her emotional space, it signifies that you are exceptional, not because you sought her trust, but because you naturally became someone she could rely on. This isn't about strategies or manipulation, it's about your true self. A woman feels secure confiding in a man who is calm, emotionally aware, and self-assured. When you embody these qualities, trust develops naturally. However, it's essential to recognize that trust is not established in a single moment. It is cultivated through consistent actions over time. It's about how you listen, manage conflict, and whether you foster an environment where she can express herself freely without fear of judgment or rejection. If she hasn't opened up to you yet, don't push it. Trust can't be demanded. It must be earned through consistent presence and emotional depth. Often, the best way to build trust isn't through perfect words, but by being a man who doesn't feel the need to prove himself. Reflect on a time when a woman confided in you. Did you listen attentively, or did you rush to fix her problems? Did you create a safe space, or did you feel uncomfortable? Did you make her feel secure, or did you inadvertently shut her down? If you've had such an experience, share your thoughts in the comments. I read every response. If this message resonates with you, like this video if you found it valuable. Subscribe for more insights on relationships, self-mastery, and emotional resilience. Comment with "I am the safe space" to affirm your commitment to becoming a trustworthy man. Remember, trust isn't earned by demanding it. It's earned by being steadfast, reliable, and present. When you embody these qualities, the right woman will see it. You may have thought that earning her trust was the goal, but it's just the beginning. The true challenge lies in becoming a man who doesn't need to prove himself at all. Thank you for watching. Your time, presence, and growth are invaluable. Stay stoic. Stay strong. Remember, true strength lies in mastering yourself, not in controlling others.